Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced Stream. I'm Richard. Richard on the MakeCode Forum. You can tell because it says my name.
Yeah, and I'm Thomas at Sparks on the MakeCode Forum.
You're not pointing in the right direction, Thomas.
I am on my screen.
No, I'm looking at the screen though.
It's reverse camera for me and no one else. Yeah, I'm like a weatherman. I have to do the.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Today, very exciting. Last week we did a release of Arcade, which we've been talking about a lot. We've been talking about the new features, and we've been showing those off. I'm really excited about that. But today we are going to be working on a game that uses some of those new features. Specifically, I figured let's make a game that uses the browser events extension. We haven't done that yet. So I know we had projects that we were working on, but let's do that.
Yeah.
By the way, I know there are some bugs with the browser events extension. It's going to be fixed. We're supposed to do a hot fix today, actually, which I just opened a PR for. That's going to fix them. I think some of the buttons are swapped. It's like nothing major. It's just some of the buttons are swapped.
Yeah.
But
guess I should look at PR.
Anyway, okay. So, how do you get access to the mouse and keyboard in the new MakeCode Arcade? Well, just go down to extensions and add browser events, which features art that is a drawing of my actual keyboard and mouse.
Nice. You actually have colored keys like that?
Yep.
Wow. Fancy.
Mm-hmm. All right. And this gives you all of these nice things. So we can finally access all the different keys in the keyboard, right? With this on a key pressed, stuff like that. And you can also get mouse events. So what is this on browser event? That's weird wording. I guess this is just any event that happens inside of the thing, but I wonder why I worded it that way.
Maybe because they were worried about people thinking it would work on hardware when it won't.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So, I haven't thought about what game we should actually do. Do you have any ideas?
Nothing off the top of my head. I'm trying to think what we've done recently. We did the Peggle thing. We did the what did we do before Peggle? Gosh, my memory.
Okay, let's do something that I've wanted to do that's been kind of hard to do in Arcade, which is like a twin stick shooter type thing, where we're going to make it so that the mouse aims.
Oh, yeah.
And the arrow keys, move you around.
Yep.
So I don't think we've, I think we'll just try to get like a little demo going, and maybe, this will turn into an actual game at some point. But, all right, so let's just do placeholder right for now. So we're going to do the duck. Nah, I want to draw something. Okay, I'm gonna draw. Let's just draw a white cat. I know a white cat purely through pictures that my friend sends, but his name is Haku, and he's a very good cat.
Is Haku a reference to something, or is it just a?
I assume it's to Spirited Away.
Oh, maybe.
I've never asked.
Yeah.
But Haku is the dragon in Spirited Away.
Gotcha.
Haku is a flame-tipped Siamese. Oh, whoops. So those are the Siamese cats that are basically just pure white. But they got a little bit of orange in there. Boop, boop.
There we go. I've seen one of those. Flame-tipped Siamese.
Yeah. Originally, when I was going to adopt breakfast, I was like, I either want to get a flame-tipped Siamese or another black cat, so that I can have a black and a white cat or two black cats. And history won the day. Nah, let's use the duck. Sorry, Haku.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and add Joey's Sprite Tales extension because it's gonna have some useful stuff for us. Okay. And we want to fire when we hold down A, or I guess when we click, we want to fire, right? And we just want to go in whatever direction it is between us and the cursor. So let's just, for our own, I don't even really think we need to, but I was going to say, for our own thing, let's just go ahead and put in a sprite that moves around with the cursor, just so we can see.
Browser events extension cannot hide the cursor, right? So we'll see the cursor regardless.
It's true. Yes, we're going to see the cursor no matter what, which is why I don't really think we need to put in a little cursor thing. But I figure just for illustrative purposes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Let's just, put this in here. So we're just going to go ahead and take our cursor. We're going to set the position to be the X, Y. And you can see that we should now have, whoa, okay, wait, I'm creating a sprite every time. That's not the right thing to do. Okay.
There you are.
All right, so there you go. Now we got this little guy chasing behind. You can see it lags a little bit behind. That's just because the browser, doesn't fire events that fast. And you also have to, even when it does fire events that fast, you have to wait for the next frame for it to actually draw. So that's why you'll see a little bit of a delay. But I don't think you'll notice it when actually playing, Yeah. And the other thing you'll notice is that the XY refers to the tip of the cursor. So, as it should be. But, okay. There you go. Let's fire projectiles. I'm going to change this to be a cat. Cat. Okay. So, we're going to, we basically want to, I think, just continuously fire when the mouse button is down. So let's do an on-game update. We're going to go into browser events and grab the is left mouse button pressed. And I think this might be the thing that's actually swapped. So let's test this out real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and go into here and do set background color to pink when it's pressed. And then set it back to transparent when it's not pressed. And yeah. So it's flipped.
I will take your word for it.
Yeah, sorry. Clicking, unclicking, clicking, unclicking, clicking, unclicking.
I see. Okay.
Weird thing though is that it starts out false until you click for the first time, which is kind of a problem, but we can handle that. Anyway. All these bugs are going to be fixed. Sorry about that. I didn't test this extension thoroughly when I wrote it, I guess. Okay. So we're going to use the opposite of this. So we're going to go ahead and do a not on this guy.
Could just do this in beta. It should have the fix already. Oh, no. I won't have
I don't know if it does.
I guess we have to split the extension separately. Yeah.
No. The extension is in common packages. So it has, it should, but I don't know that beta is completely up to date because we merged some fixes this morning. So I don't know if Avijit has done it yet, especially since I just opened the upgrade rule PR and I think he might have been waiting for that.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. We're going to create a projectile. So go ahead and do that. We're going to create it from my sprite. And let's give it an image. We'll just make it a red dot. 2x2. And I think it's immediately going to start spewing out projectiles. Yeah. So unfortunately, the like I said, this is starting out at false. And then once you click it, now it's working correctly. So now when I click, unclick, click, unclick, click, unclick. But that initial state is messed up. And luckily we can handle that. We can just say like
has clicked.
Yeah. Has clicked. And go ahead and set that to be false. And then we can go ahead into here and do set has clicked to be true. Like that. So I guess that means we lose our first click. And then we lose our second click. And then we lose our third click. And then we lose our fourth click. And then we lose our fifth click. And then we lose our sixth click. And then we lose our seventh click. And then we lose our eighth click. And then we lose our ninth click. And then we lose our 10th click. And then we lose our 11th click. And then we lose our 12th click. And then we lose our 13th click. And then we lose our 14th click. And then we lose our 15th click. And then we lose our 16th click. And then we lose our 17th click. And then we lose our 18th click. And then we lose our 19th click. And then we lose our 20th click. And then we lose our 21st click. And then we lose our 22nd click. And then we lose our 23rd click. And then we lose our 24th click. And then we lose our 25th click. And then we lose our 26th click. And then we lose our 27th click. And then we lose our 28th click. And then we lose our 29th click. And then we lose our Oh, wait. I need to...
yeah, I need to add it to the... you will... do you lose your first click? I guess you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So click. See, we lose that first one.
Hmm.
Is there a way for us to not lose that first click? I actually think maybe there isn't. I guess we can use this instead. Let's see how this works.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set background color to pink inside of here. And I'm going to go ahead and click now. I'm going to release. Okay, so let's try released. I'm going to go ahead and click. Okay, so this will work. All right. So we will just have this button released, button clicked, pressed. And we will take this, and inside of released, we will set this to true. Inside here, we will set this to false. And then we'll get rid of this like that. Great. That works.
Yep.
All right. So let's set the velocity on these guys so that they're actually moving towards the pointer. So, hey, this actually does give purpose to our cursor sprite. That'll make the angles easier. Yeah. So we're going to set projectile velocity at angle. Where are you angled from? Here we go. My sprite to cursor, and then we'll set the speed to be 100. I don't know.
Seems reasonable.
Woo!
If you're doing this at home and you don't want the cursor sprite, but you still want the angle, you can just make that cursor sprite invisible.
Yeah, we're going to do that right now, actually. So first, we're going to give this a kind. We'll just call this cursor. I don't know if we're going to actually use it for anything, but we might use it for something. And we're going to set it to be invisible right now. So go to cursor, grab the invisible flag, set that on. And now we won't be able to see it, but we can still fire our projectiles. All right, cool. And this will probably work a bit better when you played them full screen, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so let's actually move around. We're just going to use move for that. It is kind of awkward to move and like that. I guess it'll work better if we do this in a tile map, you know?
What's awkward about it?
Because like as I'm moving, the angle's changing, you know?
Oh.
Because like you have to synchronize it. I think it's actually fine. Like I think people would figure it out pretty quickly. But I'm trying to think of something that does like a similar thing to this. And I guess we're just mimicking a twin stick shooter right now, which typically doesn't have this problem because it's 2 joysticks. You know? As opposed to a joystick and a mouse. Surely someone's done this though.
There's got to be PC games that have this setup.
Yeah. Probably. Okay. Well, anyway, this works. So let's go ahead and not fire this fast. So we're going to make a variable. We're going to call this fire rate or fire timer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Should we do this based off frames or no? We'll do it based off time. And we're going to make another thing that's going to be called fire interval. And this is a perfect chance for me to use the Bricknell/Arcade Advanced Blocks extension.
Oh, which block are we getting out of here?
We're going to get the delta time block.
Ah, nice.
Which is milliseconds since last frame. So what we're going to do is we have this fire timer. We are going to set our fire timer to be, well, let me see. I guess I want change by. We're going to change our fire timer by negative milliseconds since last frame, right?
Sure.
And we're going to make this fire interval will be however long we want to be in between shots. So I'll just put it at 100 milliseconds. And then inside here, if has clicked, we're going to say if fire timer is less than 0, then we're going to do this. And we're going to set fire timer to be fire interval.
Is fire interval going to overflow? I guess it would be a lot of milliseconds before.
Yeah, that would take a long time, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, what Thomas is talking about is, so we have this fire timer thing. If this overflowed, then I think the milliseconds we're storing for the game would have overflowed beforehand.
True.
So, computers represent, in this case, integers usually as 32 bits. Actually, in the browser, it's a little bit more complicated. The numbers are actually represented using 64 bits, but JavaScript has like a weird thing where they morph between integers and floating point numbers depending on what happens. So they're 32 bits when they're integers, but then when they become floating point numbers, they're 64 bits. And then there's another thing called big ints, which you can use to have even bigger integers, but let's not get into that. If you get, you only have that many bits to represent a number. So if you happen to get above 2 to the 32, which would be the largest, well, I guess half of that because it's signed.
Yeah, true. Yeah, 2 to the 31.
Yeah, 2 to the 31. Then you will do what's called an overflow, which is you'll wrap back around to the beginning, basically, because your number will be too big for the representation. So you'll end up turning to negative whatever the smallest number is. So that is a problem for if you just have a number that you're constantly increasing like every frame in the game, except it's not a problem because it would probably take years for you to actually get to that point.
So I just did the math, and if we're looking at milliseconds here, it would take actually only about 25 days.
25 days. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
little less.
I'm going to bet that no one's playing our game for 25 days.
It's probably a safe assumption. Yeah.
Yeah. But even if they do, yeah. You know, it would ruin the game if they played it for 25 days. But
that's our you need to go to bed now.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that Nintendo started doing in like the DS era, where you would play games, especially like on the Wii. I feel like the Wii did this all the time, and after like an hour, it would be like, "Hey,
oh
you okay, buddy?
For a while,
you've been playing for a while. Maybe it's time to take a break." And I'd be like, "I know, Nintendo, that I shouldn't be playing this video game for a long time, but I'm going to anyway."
The first time I ever saw that was in MapleStory, way back in the day.
Yeah, I never played MapleStory, but I had friends who did.
Gave little like, hey, maybe you should take a break now warnings.
Yeah. For those who aren't aware, I guess MapleStory is still around, isn't it?
It's been a long time since I looked, probably in some capacity.
It's like a 2D massively multiplayer online game.
Can't say that I necessarily recommend it, but back in the day, it was fun.
Yeah.
Also, hi, Woof. We're making a Woof asked, what are we making? We're making a what did you call it? Twin stick shooter kind of game.
Twin stick shooter.
Yeah. Browser events extension, so you can actually use your mouse to aim the cursor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna set the Z of our cat higher so that it's above the projectiles. There we go. So now we have our projectiles firing, and we can decrease this rate by doing the time. Now, One thing is there's a slight amount of error in how we're firing right now, in that the amount of time between milliseconds could be less than our fire interval, or we could end up firing it less frequently because, it just happens to line up with the amount of time that's spent every frame, and we end up cutting off the remainder. I don't know if it's worth accounting for that. It's easy to do, but I'm not going to do it. So, all right. Anyway, this is great. Let's add some enemies or something to this game. So I don't know if we're going to use a tile map for this. I think we might just make enemies appear in fun ways. So to do that, I'm going to lock our character into the screen. So I'm going to turn on a flag for our character, which is going to be stay in screen. So that on. And I'm imagining a game where we have a ton of enemies coming in different patterns, and you just gotta, blast them, and you have lives. We'll just do real simple.
Yep, that works. So, I was trying to think of some way to incorporate your real-time extension into this, but it would be very convoluted. So I think just simple is the way to go.
Also, that's JavaScript only right now. But
is it? Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out exactly how to do blocks for it because it's kind of complicated. I don't know. I guess we have to return a time object that you can get all the different things off of.
Yeah, I guess I was just envisioning a block that's like get time and then a little drop down minutes, hours, seconds. But yeah, I could see it's kind of clunky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wolf had a fun idea. You could add a recoil to the shot, and that's how the player moves around. So yeah, that reminds me of a game, an old school game now, I guess. Oh no, not Osmosis. Thank you. Osmos. Was that it? No.
Some keyboard company.
Osmos? No. Okay, whatever. This is it. Yep, Osmos. This game. So this was a game for like iPad, I think, and it was like one of the big like first iPad games. And the way it works is you're one of these little cell guys, this blue one, and you eat cells that are smaller than you and get bigger.
Oh, nice. I love those kinds of games.
Yeah. And you fire by touching in a direction, which causes you to launch little bits of yourself out. And if those hit other cells, they make those cells bigger, Yeah. So it ends up being like, you have to kind of be careful and just swallow things at a faster rate than you send them out. It's a very chill game.
Yeah. Seems like a neat little idea. I do like adding recoil, whether or not it's the only way to move. We can see how it feels, but I like it.
Wolf says, LOL, Richard, read the comment before the last one. Richard, did you see the my extension that adds mouse support to your mini menu extension? I didn't know. No, I haven't seen that yet. Wolf also says, isn't that a .io game? I don't know. There might be a web version of it, but there's a ton of games that have the similar principle, But the one I played was the iPad one, and it was a long time ago. All right. Anyway, okay, let's give this a shot. Yeah, now you're making me wonder, should I just add browser support for the mini menu extension? I guess I don't want to add the browser events extension by default when you add the mini menu extension, so I probably won't do that. So yeah, I'll allow your extension to continue to exist. All right, let's try this movement thing. So we're going to do a little bit of recoil when we fire in the opposite direction. So let's get rid of our move. Toss this. And for now, let's just move ourselves backwards. So we're going to go ahead and do place my sprite. By the way, fun trick with this extension is you can do place yourself away from yourself to just move in a direction by a certain amount. Hi, Brohan. Okay, so we're going to grab this angle from my sprite to cursor, but we're going to reverse it. So we're just going to take cursor, swap it from my sprite, and we'll move 1 pixel. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
But I guess we want to do like a velocity, and then I guess we'll give ourselves some friction.
Yeah, that probably feels smoother.
So let's do that. We're gonna go ahead and grab. Let's see. We're gonna do. We're also gonna set bounce on walls to be true. Bounce on wall. We're gonna set the fx and fy to be something. I never know what to do for this. Let's set it to be 100 for now, which is too little, I think. And we'll just start bouncing around and see how we go. All right, so we're going to set our velocity to be this angle. And we're going to set it to be what is our current speed plus something. So inside of sprite utils, we can grab the speed of our sprite. Whoops. Get in there, get in there, get in there. And we'll do our current speed plus 5.
We don't have a change.
Oh, wait, wrong way.
Velocity, do we? Change by. That would be kind of a.
No, but that, I mean, that's what we're doing, you know. Oh, and get rid of this place. That's what's messing me up.
Yes, we're changing the angle is being changed immediately, right? So there's no.
We're setting our speed to be the speed plus 5, though.
Yes. But if you had velocity in this direction and then you shot in this direction, your angle would immediately shift. You wouldn't like bend.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. It's fine. It would be complicated to program.
Woof Woof put in a very passive aggressive. Oh, I'm so happy, gracious mod, Richard, for allowing my tiny extension to exist. P.S. There isn't any browser events extension in my code. If I removed browser events from the dependency section of JSON, it would work just fine. Oh, your sarcasm fuels me. So this isn't working very well, though. I guess maybe I made the friction too high.
Yeah, maybe. We. It's a nice level, I think. Is what happened.
Change that to 10. All right, that's too little. 20. Okay, at some point, I started firing in the opposite direction.
Wow, this is...
Oh, right. That makes sense. Right. We do want to reverse the direction we fire. Or no, we don't. No. This is working correctly. My brain's not working right.
How did we get stuck? It was like we weren't... Somehow it was just infinitely bouncing.
Yeah, so I think what's happening is if I release my pointer and leave the simulator...
Oh, it doesn't realize that you've lifted it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which I guess that might be the reason that I put in this block.
Ah, that makes sense. Separate from just the in-game left mouse button press release.
Yeah. So that fixes the issue.
Makes sense.
Okay. Let's do this thing where we change the thing based off of what your current. We apply an acceleration in a direction. Hi, Pimink official. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and do vector math for this, I guess. So we already know what our speed is. So let's grab our speed, and we have an angle as well from sprite utils. So grab the velocity angle. So when you're adding two vectors together, actually, I guess we just want to straight up use the Vx, Vy, don't we? Because we're going to have to break it into components anyway.
Yeah, we could do
that. So we're going to do a change my sprite Vx by whatever we want our acceleration to be. So we'll do 20 times, and then we're going to make this be the cosine of our angle, this guy, and pull this out. And we're going to change our VY by the sign. Okay, well, that's not working correctly. Or maybe it is, and we're just going in the wrong direction. We're just moving to the cursor. Yeah, this is angle from my sprite to cursor, so we want it to be the opposite.
Why
now it seems like
the wrong direction?
Oh, I pulled out the code that was setting the velocity of the projectile.
Oh.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, that seems to be working correctly.
It's pretty smooth.
One thing that's a little annoying is that if you get to the edge of the screen, then it cancels it. And if you come back in, it doesn't start up again.
I see.
So we can fix that. I'm also going to reduce the friction a little bit. Let's make this be like 80. Okay, so how do we fix this?
Do we have events for like cursor enters and exits the screen?
Yeah, we do. Pointer enter right there. Yeah. So when browser event pointer enter happens, then we could set has clicked to be is pressed or something like that.
Or the not version of this because of the bug we're dealing with. But yeah. But it'll still stop when you leave the screen, which is
right. I think that's okay though. That's kind of.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Otherwise, we wouldn't really know where to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now this is.
So we have a sprite that's following your cursor's position. When your cursor goes out of the screen, what is happening in that to that cross sprite that's invisible right now?
I think we stopped firing events, so
it's just not moving anymore. Stays stuck on the edge of the screen or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think we've quite nailed the edge of screen or re-entering the screen behavior. Like if I am clicking and I exit and now I move over here and then come back in, it's like it starts firing again. So I guess the browser events extension is only checking for, I mean, it makes sense because JavaScript doesn't really have an is mouse button pressed thing. Pimink Official says, Richard, how's it going with adding the community games to the home screen? Yep, I'm working on it. It's going to happen. I'm going to have that PR up today. So I've got the list that I've been building up. All I have left to do is I need to get images for all of them. And I think we have a script that does that, but I need to figure out how to run that script. So, but once I have all of those images, I'll open the PR and it'll go live hopefully today or on Monday. But once getting the PR up is the hard part, So once the PR is up, hopefully that will take effect pretty quickly.
Yep.
Okay. So anyway, this is working. Let's make enemies appear. Hey, do we want to make it so that I kind of just want to make Osmos right now?
I mean, I'm down. It seems fun.
Yeah. All right. So let's make blobs and we'll get bigger as we eat blobs. So we're going to go ahead and take our sprite. We're going to reduce him to a dot. There we go. Dot. We're going to go into sprite utils. We're going to draw. Not that. I'm going to draw a circle. And do that inside of a render on z index. do like 10. And we want to do it at the location of our, make that screen. And then we want to do this at the location of our sprite. So go ahead and do my sprite X, my sprite Y. There we go. And we want to make this get bigger and smaller, like depending on what we do. Actually, I don't really care about the getting smaller thing. Okay, you do kind of get stuck, I realize now.
Oh, because you can't fire to the corner, opposite where you need to fire.
Yeah. I think we might have to figure out something there. Pimink Official says 10 out of 10 circle. Yeah, it's it's tough to do circles in pixel art. We're using the what's called the midpoint circle algorithm, which you can look up in Wikipedia if you want to see the implementation of that. Hi, Belle.
Yes, Belle. Come to say hi.
All right. But we're gonna need like a radius variable that we make bigger over time. So let's go ahead and grab a variable for that. We'll set it to be, I don't know, 10 to start, which is probably too big. And then grab this down here and stick it in there. Okay, so that's a better circle. Still looks a little bit bad, I have to say. Does fill circle look any better, I wonder?
Do we use a different algorithm?
I don't think we should, but I remember there being a difference.
Oh.
Go. Let's do that. Okay, probably need to. Oh yeah, gotta make that screen. Yeah, that's definitely different.
Yep. Interesting.
All right, might have to investigate that. Okay, well, we'll go with fill because that's better. I think what's tricky, the reason I wasn't getting stuck before was because our sprite was bigger. So when we hit the edge of the screen, we bounced off, and we had like a little bit of room that I could get my pointer in. But now that it's a 1 pixel sprite, I can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, if we're doing Osmos, we could just make the camera follow the sprite and have a larger level. But
it's true. Let's just do that. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this stay in screen stuff and get rid of this bounce on wall. I think we're just gonna have an infinite level, which I think Osmos is basically. So we'll just spawn enemies as you kind of move around, and then we'll despawn them when they go away and all of that stuff. That's the idea. So let's go ahead and do scene camera follow. Now this is going to make our game really weird right now because we have no frame of reference. So now it's like, oh, we're not moving. Oh, right. We didn't take the camera into effect with drawing.
Oh.
Gotta grab a camera. Gotta do minus X minus camera left. Y minus camera top. There we go. Now we have a vibrating circle in the center of our screen, which is, never moving. I think actually, where the mouse pointer, we need to take that into account too. So, all right. We need to set the cursor's position to be camera left plus X. And then camera top plus Y. So the mouse thing, as you would expect, does not take the camera into effect. It's always just based off of the screen. So, okay, that's fixed. Now, since we have the camera following our sprite, I'm actually going to get rid of this camera stuff. We're just always going to draw it at the center of the screen. And that will get rid of our vibrating issue. So there we go. Okay, our guy is just always at the center of the screen. Looking good.
Yep.
All right, so we now need to make it so there's actually other like junk in this level. So we're going to make, let's make our radius smaller. So we're going to set this to be like just a wee dude. Set it to 1. What does 1 look like? Like that, or just a pixel. Make it 2. There you go. Now we're a square. We're gonna spawn some other guys. So let's go ahead and make a function. We're gonna call this create celluloid. And we're gonna call this, gonna give it a new kind, which is gonna be celluloid. So that's what I've decided to call these guys.
A very natural name.
Yep. And we're just going to give them a 1 pixel sprite, just like we did for our dude. Make it red, though. And then inside, we're going to do another render on z-index, where we're going to loop over all of these guys and draw them. So for element value of array of all sprites of kind. Celluloid. We are going to, I'm going to need those camera blocks again. Just copy this over. You go. So we're going to do it at x minus left, y minus top, radius, and we're going to make these guys just white, I think. So, all right, and we need to set some flags on these guys. So the main flag we're going to be setting is, I guess we actually don't even need to set flags on them. I'm not too worried about it. I was going to set auto destroy on them, but we're going to want to spawn them off screen. So
yeah, we'd probably want to do our own little culling if they get too far away.
But anyway, let's start creating these guys. So actually, I don't know how to do it so that we create them as we move around. I guess we just have to. Oh, you know what? I remembered what I wanted to do in here. I wanted to give these guys a random radius. So let's have this function. We're going to take in a radius. And we're going to set this. We need the sprite data extension. There it is. And let's create our trusty temp sprite. Like that. And then we're going to go to our render. And the radius is going to be the radius we get out with these guys. That. Okay. So so as we move, we want to spawn these guys. So as the camera is moving to the left, we're going to want to spawn them to the left so that they are revealed as we are moving. Right?
Yeah. Maybe. I was thinking if we just have like this, whatever our culling distance is, say it's, we pick that, and we just always want there to be at least 20 of these celluloids at any given point in time. And if there's less than 20, we spawn more within the appropriate distance. And then as you move, the ones that are in the wrong direction will get destroyed because they're going out of the distance.
I don't even think we destroy them. I think we just pop them down here.
Oh, just move them? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that could work too.
Once they're off screen, we just move them down to the opposite direction.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to make a variable that we're going to call culling radius. Ominous.
Yeah, it is kind of a sinister term.
Though culling is used in graphics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to set this to be 100. I don't know. I don't know what a good value is. We need it to be big enough so that they can be fully off screen.
Yeah. I mean, the screen itself is, you got
160 by 120.
Yeah. Maybe do 150 personally, but it's
yeah. Whatever. Let's do a full screen.
Yeah.
So we'll do 160 in all directions.
You want it to be far enough that the player's not going to notice if they go down and then come back up to get something that they saw earlier. Like,
yeah,
I don't want it to still be there. Yeah. So we can try 160, see how it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to just need to spawn a bunch of these guys. All right, so how are we going to spawn them? Well, we want to spawn them so that they're not too close together. And spread out like relatively evenly. So I don't know if you have any ideas for like what to do there. I don't know if I do.
Nope.
Okay.
We could just try random to start.
You want to just do random and then just move them?
Oh, I guess if there's random, but then they're in the screen. We could kind of do it with random, but geez, it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah. See, I think we can't have them overlapping each other is the thing. So like we could make them bounce each other away or like repel each other.
Yeah. Huh. We could. All right. Here's a weird idea. Well, you'd still need them to bounce off of each other. I was gonna say you just align them in a grid, like a simple grid, but then you give each one a random velocity and some amount of friction, so they just kind of shuffle around a little bit at the start. But they'd still need to bump with each other, and it's probably more complicated than.
I was also thinking doing a grid. It's kind of not going to be the prettiest thing.
Yeah.
Because it'll probably be very clear that they're starting in a grid. But I don't exactly have a better solution right now. So
we can tweak it later.
Yeah. Let's do this for now. So we're going to go ahead and do a new variable. We'll call this index x. Do another one in here that we're going to call index y. And so our total width of our screen is 160 times 3, so 480. And our total height of our screen is 320 plus 120 is 440. So we have 480 by 440, right?
Sure.
Wait, that's not right. No, that's not right.
We've got a radius, so it's kind of a little wacky, but
yeah. No, wait, no, yeah, it is 440. We're not going to do it in a circle. That's not what we're doing. The radius term that I'm using here is just.
I see.
The direction of the rectangle.
Yeah, it's a square.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes sense.
I guess we could do it in a radius. Is it actually easier for us to do it in a radius?
We have a distance from block, so probably slightly.
Yeah, that probably is easier, isn't it?
Yeah, though it's not a big difference either way.
Yeah.
I guess radius gets tricky when you're. No, yeah, that could work. I was thinking when you have to do the wrapping and you're moving as things.
No, it's actually easier. I think. Yeah, I think everything's easier with the radius.
Yeah, the distance from place at a distance from. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to spawn this differently now. I mean, I guess we can still do it like this, but okay. So we're going to use sprite utils. We are going to do this place. We're going to do create celluloid. Oh, let's actually return our celluloid. Celluloid, by the way, is the name of like the stuff they make on film on. Like you know? So it doesn't, it means
Not
nothing in
actually
this.
a cellular organism.
No.
It feels right though. It feels like
it does, yes.
Yeah.
But celluloid is that film stuff. It's also extremely flammable. So like buses used to have signs that said like no carrying film. Because it would like go up, like if you're carrying like movie film, it would like, explode.
Sheesh. Well, that's a dramatic way to lose a lot of work.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna place this from my sprite. We're gonna go ahead and set temp sprite to be create celluloid. And we're gonna give it a random radius. So we'll just do pick random from 1 to 10, sure. So we're going to place this guy away from our sprite based off of the index x and index y. So index x is going to be our distance, and index y is going to be our angle. So we're going to set the distance to be index x times something. And I'm just going to arbitrarily choose 20. And we're going to set our angle to be index y times, and I'm going to convert this into radians from degrees because it's easier to think about degrees. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, we're kind of almost out of time, so I want to show off something new that's coming. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Convert degrees to radians. And make this temp sprite. There we go. Okay. So now we're spawning these guys out. Like we're just doing index y 0 to 4 and doing, the 20-degree increments. So that's why we're only covering this amount of a circle. If we wanted to, we could do this properly where we actually like put this in a constant and then divide 360 by this and then blah, 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 blah. But let's just go ahead and make this be, let's see, this is almost a quarter. Let's make it 20. There we go. Okay. So here we are. We're spawning a bunch of dudes in a circle. So we want our X to map to our radius, right? So let's make this be 0 to 6, which if you remember, that's actually going to be 7 iterations. And our radius is, we want this to be 160 times 2, so 320. And since we're multiplying by this, we want this to be 320 divided by 7, which is roughly 45 or so.
Wow. Yep, checks out. We probably want to add like a minimum of, maybe skip that 0. So we don't sitting right on top of us when we spawn.
Oh yeah. And we're gonna want to nudge them around. So
true.
So let's do index y plus 1. Oh, sorry, not index y. Nope, that one can stay the same. Index x plus 1.
Yeah.
And there we go. And boy, these circles look bad, don't they, huh?
It's yeah. Am
I gonna have to draw my own circles?
I mean, when it's like a 2x2, you don't really have a lot of choice, but
yeah, with 2x2, that is the end of where squares should be, though.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
because like, let's just go ahead and do this real quick. This is a better 3x3 circle. And then 4x4, you just start doing squares where you just get rid of the corners. And like, that's what it should be doing, right?
Yeah.
Should not be doing this. Maybe I'll have to look into our algorithm implementation, make sure it's right. And if it is right, then maybe I'll do something special to make it better.
Yeah.
Because it's bad right now.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so let's show some new stuff real quick. Pimmings official says, hopefully the new stuff is community games on the home screen. It's happening. It's happening. Okay. I'm sorry. It takes more effort than you think it does. So that's why there's been a delay. But the thing I wanted to show off is a little bit different. I don't think anyone's expecting this, which is cool. But I promise you it's even cooler than having community games on the home screen. I promise. Rotation. Ooh. So we already have a scale X, scale Y on our sprites, which lets you stretch them. But we're going to be adding a property, assuming my PR goes through, that also lets you rotate sprites. Now we are rotating sprites. We're rotating pixel art, which does not rotate well. So here you can see this is our duck rotated about 45 degrees, but it looks really good in motion. So it's really good for doing fun effects and stuff, you know, of like the things spinning around, and you can combine it with scaling to do some really fun effects. And it looks pretty good with big sprites, but there are ways to get better rotations of pixel art, of small pixel art, but they usually are like, I think the most common one that people do is something called rot sprite. And basically what it ends up doing is you scale the sprite up like 8 times, and then you rotate that, and then you scale it back down. And we don't have the memory or the time to do that. So that's why it's going to be this way. Yeah, so I've been working on this all week, and hopefully you have fun with it. I think we're going to have fun with it on stream. Yeah, rotation. All right, and I think that's it for us today. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Also, hi, Alex. We'll be back on Monday to keep working on this, I guess. And like I said, we're going to have a hot fix for Arcade, hopefully coming out this afternoon. Wolfwolf says that sounds computationally expensive. Well, yeah, the rot sprite one is computationally expensive, but I have been working all week to optimize mine. So it works on hardware and it works in the browser. So it's not that bad. I mean, it is worse than not rotating sprites, obviously, but it's all right. Yes, we'll have a hot fix that's going to be coming out later today, hopefully. And like I said, the community games are either going to go up today or on Monday. I have some tiny things that I have to do for the hot fix release. And that's more important because we want to get that out as soon as possible to fix, bugs people are hitting. And yes, and we got a real quick question, which was, why does the live stream have to be so late? Yeah, I need to put up a poll on the forum to figure out what the optimum time for a live stream is, because we've been doing it at this time because it's optimal for us for a long time, and I feel like it's not optimal for a lot of the people who watch live stream. But there's a lot of time zones.
Yeah.
Pim Ink Official says it's literally midnight. Okay, we're not going to be better for you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, probably. Sorry. We're Pacific time, so
we're all based on the West Coast, and you're guessing based in England, which I think is 9 hours ahead of us.
Oof.
Yeah, but we will. I am up for like maybe shifting it like an hour later or something. Because I noticed that on Fridays and stuff, we get a lot of people who show up in the last like 10 minutes, So I wonder if the issue is that we're 4 o'clock on the East Coast when we start, and that's like when school is letting out,
Oh, I see. Yeah. But that will probably make it worse for you, Pimmink Official, I'm afraid.
Yeah, sorry.
You can always, it's more fun when you're here and it's live and we can chat, but they are recorded and on YouTube if you just want to see what you missed.
It's true. But yeah, so I might do that soon. Put that up on the forum. I'm not going to guarantee that we're going to change anything, but just for our own like edification to know like where the people who watch the live stream or who are interested in watching on the live stream typically live.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, I'm Richard. I'm Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Thomas at Sparks on the MakeCode forum.
And we'll see you later. Bye.